Can I pick your brain? If you've ever heard those words spoken to you, it means that you have something that comes naturally to you, that you're happy to do it for free forever. But there is also something in you that knows that this could be more than a hobby. But how do you connect your talent to business? I'm glad you asked. Business can feel very personal and not always in a cozy, fuzzy kind of way. I've figured out a few things along the way and I've got the receipts. Join me as we separate the math from the drama, one business at a time. Let's go. Welcome to the Creative Business Mindset Podcast. My name is Joke, your favorite business therapist. Today, we're diving into a topic that I wish somebody had pulled me aside to teach me years ago. How to bridge the gap between being talented at something and actually getting paid for it. Because these are two completely different skill sets that nobody wants you about. But we're going to get into all of it. If you're like I was, you've got this thing that you do, this gift, this talent. Maybe it's the gift of design, maybe the gift of numbers, or baking the most amazing cakes. And people love what you do. They're always asking for your help, your input, your magic touch. But the plot twist is you've been helping everyone except for yourself. You are the friend who spends all weekend rearranging somebody else's entire home. The one that's given detailed advice over coffee that somehow turns into a 3 hour strategy session. The creative who's always brainstorming ideas for other people's projects, and you love it at first because it feels good to be needed. It feels good to be the person everyone calls, and it feels good to use your gifts. That's what they're for. We should use them and we should help other people with them. But until you check your bank balance and you realize that feeling good is not paying the bills, and this is what nobody tells you when you're starting out. The universe doesn't reward talent alone. It rewards clarity, it rewards positioning. It rewards the ability to communicate value in a way that makes people want to invest in what you do. Story time. When I started my staging business, it's one of the many businesses that I do. I am what you know as a multipreneur or serial entrepreneur. And one of my most prominent businesses that I do is Genesis Home Staging. I had the talent figured out. I could walk into a space and completely see the transformation like so many decorators and designers do. I can tell you, move this hair, paint this color, add all these elements, and suddenly the house is what 50K, 100K more than it's usually would, and it sells within a week or instead of sitting on the market for months. I had the eye, I had the expertise, I had the passion. What I didn't have was business intelligence. I didn't know how to package my services. I didn't know how to price them without apologizing. I didn't know how to communicate my value without giving away the whole playbook in a free consultation. It's like giving the cow to people and expecting them to pay for the milk. I was creative, but I was not strategic. And this is the thing, being strategic doesn't mean that you become someone that you're not. It doesn't mean that you are losing the heart of what you do. And it is not turning into some corporate version of yourself that you don't even recognize. Having structure and strategy means that you're creating a structure that allows your creativity to thrive instead of drain you. Let's get into all of it. So, let me tell you about some of the most expensive coffee meetings that I have been on. In the early days when I started Genesis, I would meet with a real estate agent to talk about staging, and I would explain the psychology behind it. I'll show them case studies, walk them through the ROI. And because I wanted to be helpful, I will offer to even come to look at their listing. And just a quick look, right? Just some suggestions, something friendly, except just that quick look kept turning into spending hours at the property, taking notes, measuring, thinking through furniture placement. And then I'll go home and create a full staging plan and a proposal, room by room recommendations, and this, actual Sherwin Williams color numbers, furniture suggestions, links to where they could buy them, and all doing it for free. Hey, quick word before we continue. If you're afraid to start a new venture or you're ready for the next step but not sure how to get there, I want to invite you to join me inside Business Therapy at jokedurujaye.me. This is where we take it to the next level. We talk it out and map out your next steps so you can move forward with clarity and confidence. jokedurujaye.me. I'll leave a link for you in the show notes. All right, let's get back to the episode. I will then email them the comprehensive plan, the proposal for my actual staging services, the part where I'm supposed to get paid. And then I hear crickets. Or worse, you get a response, "This is so helpful. Thank you so much." And then I drive by the house 2 weeks later and my entire plan has been executed. My paint colors, my furniture arrangement, my staging strategy, just everything that I gave them put in their hands, just done by someone else or by them, by themselves, with trips to Home Goods and Target and whatnot. I was running an accidental staging school, design school, and my tuition was free. But because all this was happening, because at the time, this is what I didn't understand. I thought the problem was my pricing. So I spent months, maybe even more than months, trying to lower my price to where they are. Maybe they will say yes to all of the grandiose plans that I put in their hands. Why are they not paying for this? So I thought pricing was the issue. But the problem was not mine. I also thought maybe it was my experience level. So I would do more things for free and I would take on projects that I shouldn't have just because I wanted to build my portfolio. But over time, very expensive time wasted, I realized that the real problem was I was teaching people how to do the thing that I do without ever positioning myself as the person that they needed to hire. I was giving them the outcome before it was paid for. And that is a trap that most creatives fall into. We prove our own expertise by doing the work for free instead of communicating the value of what we do when we get paid, you know? And another thing that nobody talks about is the exhaustion that comes from that, not just physical exhaustion, because there'll be plenty of that. Because when you keep putting time and energy into something that you get before, you quickly get exhausted. But the kind of tired that comes from constantly being helpful while never being compensated. Because at some point you realize you become everybody's free resource. You are the Google of things. And the friend that they text at 9 p.m. with quick question that turned into 1 hour long text thread. The constant, "Who can I pick your brain over coffee?" that would it to be solving their entire business problem while your latte is getting cold. And you do it again and again because you're generous, because you love what you do, because you love helping people. It feels good until it doesn't, because you're going to get to a point where it doesn't feel good anymore. You're looking at your calendar and you're realizing that you spend the 15 hours last week helping other people build their businesses while yours is barely surviving. Until you're checking your bank account and wondering how you're so busy, but yet you're so broke, right? That is when the resentment shows up. Not all at once, it creeps in slowly. First, it's just little voice saying, maybe I should have said no to that. Then it's a bigger voice saying, "Why am I doing this for free?" when they would never expect their lawyer, their accountant, their doctor to work for nothing. And the worst part, you will start to feel guilty about that resentment because you're supposed to feel generous, right? You're supposed to love help people. What kind of person charges money for their gates? Let me tell you, the kind of person. A person who wants to keep using those gates without burning out. A person who understands sustainability matters. A person who knows that the best way to serve people long term is to create a business model that doesn't destroy you in the process. Okay? That is the kind of person that charges for their services. So, what is the solution? What does it actually mean to add business intelligence to productivity? Again, I'm glad you asked. It means that you're learning the skills that they don't teach you in design school, that they don't teach you in college, in writing programs, in college coaching certifications. It means knowing what to give away in the form of marketing and what to charge for as your service. That free consultation, it should create a desire for your paid work, not replace it. It means understanding difference between being helpful and being hired. Helpful is answering questions. Hired is solving a problem. See the difference? It means that you're building boundaries that protect your energy and your expertise. For example, I need to check my calendar is a complete sentence. That's not a good fit for my business. Doesn't require 20 minutes explanation, an apology, or an email. It means you're getting comfortable with the money conversation or the money conversation, not apologizing for your prices and not offering discounts before if they even ask. Because I used to be that person. I've already in my brain told myself that the price that I'm about to give them is too high and I'm offering the discount before they even ask. Don't do that, because when you not doing that thing where your voice goes up like 3 octaves when you talk about your rates is going to set you up as an expert that people actually respect. And this is what surprised me the most, because adding structure to my business, it didn't make me less creative. It actually gave me more room to be creative, because we are not constantly scrambling or to figure out where your next business is coming from or scared that they will say no. When you're not being resentful about being underpaid because you do so much work that you're never paid for, or you get paid less than your worth, and you're not drained from overgiving. You actually have energy for the work itself, for good work. And the structure is not the enemy. Chaos and not knowing who you are is actually the enemy. So, what changed? How did I go from giving away the cow to building a profitable business? It wasn't one big bang theory moment. It was a series of small decisions, small changes that added up to a completely different business model, not a hobby model, not a talent model. The first shift was how I talked about what I do. I used to go all over the place talking about how I do the furniture placement, make the place look good, color selection, design consulting, creating beautiful spaces that appeal to buyers, which all sound nice, but it is completely easily forgettable. It's not about me. It's not about the process. It's not about my expertise, my talent. It is about the client's problems that I'm going to solve. So I changed to 9 words. I help homeowners sell their houses faster for more money. That's it. And that is the outcome that my clients actually care about. They don't care anything about the process. They don't wake up thinking, I need better furniture placement. I need to make this place look pretty. They wake up thinking, I need to sell this house and I need to do it quickly because I'm paying 2 mortgages right now and it's destroying me financially. So I need somebody who provides a solution to that so I can stop experiencing that stress and difficulty that I'm in right now. I can get the results of moving on to my new home or settling without paying 2 mortgages. When you can articulate the specific problem you solve for people, everything else gets easier and everything changes. Your pricing will make sense not just to you, but to them. And it will be so much easier for them to accept because you're charging for an outcome, not your time. Your marketing makes sense because you're speaking to a pain point. You're not explaining your process. Nobody cares about that. And this is something that took me way too long to figure out. When you're selling your time, you're always going to feel like you're charging too much because time feels infinite until you run out of it, right? But when you're selling an outcome, price conversations will completely shift. A homeowner who has been carrying two mortgages for 6 months, right? Because their house won't sell. They are worried about whether my solution, my staging package, and they're not worried about the price, whether it's 3,000 or 5,000. They're worried about losing another 12,000 in double mortgage payments if the house sits on the market for another 2 months. So my solution and my service is not a cost to them. When you think about it that way, it's an investment that saves them money and stress. But I had to learn to frame it that way and I had to believe it myself. But when we're these hobbies and we're stuck in our creativity, our talent, our gifts, and we love doing this, we're not thinking strategically about how to position our offers and our services. It's not a service, it's just something I love to do. So once I got very clear on the results that I create for clients, I understood that I actually understood what I did better. I am not somebody who just arranges furniture, but I houses that I stay sell 73% faster than the market average, for example. I don't just choose paid colors for you. My homes that I staged receive offers average of 8% above the asking price. When you have the numbers, when you understand what you do, that you can articulate and explain it to someone, when you know your own track record, and your track record doesn't just have to be from paid projects. It can be a track record of all the times people have picked your brains for free and the results that you got them. The pricing becomes so much easier because you understand your numbers, you understand what you do, you understand what you bring, you understand your value. And because you're not guessing, you're not hoping, you're not apologizing, you're just stating the facts. It makes it make sense and it adds value to what you bring. And then you can charge what you're worth, truly, truly worth. So the other major shift was learning to say no without guilt. No to projects that were not a good fit. No to clients who wanted to DIY with my plan, not the can you take a quick look request whenever actually quick. I had to really own my own worth. But this is something that I discovered. The better I got at saying no to the wrong things, the more energy I had to say yes to the right things. Because while I was serving the people that I was not meant to serve, doing the things that I was not meant to do for them, it was taking away the energy, the time, and the resources that and the opportunities for me to do more of the things that actually move the needle, project me forward as the expert, and serve the right people who are willing and ready to pay for what I'm worth. So I stopped taking on every project that came my way. I had to market my business. When I stopped trying to be everything to everyone, I became exactly what my ideal clients were needed. And I became exactly the kind of person, the kind of entrepreneur, the kind of creative that I wanted to be. And something unexpected happened because my business didn't shrink, it actually grew. Because when you're clear about who you serve, what you do, when you're confident in your pricing, when you have boundaries that protect your energy, people can see that, they can feel it. And they trust that more than somebody who is working in chaos and is unsure. They want to work with you because they feel the confidence that you feel about what you do. They trust you. Desperation will repel people, they will repel clients, but confidence will attract them. So, what does success really look like? I want to be really honest, as I always am, about something because building a profitable business didn't solve all my problems. It actually created new ones, but good problems that they were still problems. I had to learn how to hire the right people, manage a team. I had to deal with difficult clients. It's all part of the process. I had to figure out systems and processes and all the unsexy parts of running a business that nobody wants you about. But the difference that this made, that these were problems that I now had the capacity to solve because I'm in a place where I wasn't exhausted from overgiving and giving everything away for free. I had compensation for the work that I do that allows me to now invest in solutions that serve my business and move me forward. And so I had built a foundation that could support growth for me personally, for my business. And the freedom I now have is not about working less. I work just as hard, but I work different. I work smart. I can take on passion projects because I have paid projects that are covering my expenses. I can take on legacy projects like the book that I wrote. I can invest in my own education because my business is profitable. I can be generous with my expertise in the right context and for the right people for the right reasons. Because I have boundaries, I can do non-profit work, meaningful work, give back to my community. I can mentor upcoming creative women without charging for it if I choose to, because my schedule is not desperate for every possible client. That is what sustainability looks like for me. Not working less, but working smarter and building businesses that support the life that I want instead of consuming it. So once I'd figured this out for myself, I started seeing the same pattern everywhere. It's like you buy this blue Kia car and the next minute you are always seeing the blue Kia everywhere. Because I've recognized this pattern in myself, I now started to see it everywhere I go and with people that I work with, talented designers that are working for hourly minimum wage because they're just starting out, even though they've been doing this for like 5 years, and coaches that are giving away 90-minute discovery calls where they solve the client's entire problem and then wonder why no one is booking the actual program. Let me tell you, I no longer do free discovery calls. I did so many, many years. I did that and I did a lot of free mentoring and I still do. But now I know what I'm worth. When you know your stuff inside out, but you can't communicate your value in a way that makes people want to invest, it is not a talent problem. It is a business intelligence problem. And the solution is not that complicated. It's just different from what most creative people naturally do. It means you're getting clear on the transformation you create, not just the process you use. It means pricing based on value, not based on what you feel comfortable with or what you think people can afford. Honestly, what people can afford is none of your business. It should be, your price should always be about the value that provide and the solutions that you provide to the problems. It means that you're protecting your expertise in the same way that you protect your time, your energy, your creative capacity, because at the end of the day, you deserve to build a business that supports you, not one that drains you while you're supporting everyone else for free. So if you're listening to this right now and you're thinking, this is exactly where I am, I want you to know something. You are at the intersection between your talent and business, and you need to decide which path you're going to take. One path keeps you exactly where you are right now: talented, dizzy, helpful, broke, exhausted, slowly starting to resent the thing that you used to know. But the other part, that is where you connect your creativity with business intelligence, where you build something sustainable, where you can get paid well for the work you love, where you have the energy to keep showing up because you're not constantly drained. The gap between these two paths is not as wide as you feel. I promise you. You don't need to be someone that you're not. You need three things. First, clarity. Get very, very specific about the problem you solve, not the process that you use, because your clients, they don't care about the process. They care that you solve a problem for them. So start there. And then number two is confidence. And I don't mean the fake it till you make it kind of confidence, because we don't do that around here. I mean that kind of knowing your numbers, understanding your value, knowing your stuff, and separating the math from the drama. When your pricing is based on results instead of feelings, confidence will naturally follow. And number three, systems, the kind that protects your creativity instead of consuming it, the kind that lets you say yes to the right opportunities and no to the wrong ones without guilt. Like the kind that means Monday morning is feeling manageable instead of overwhelming. That is what I have built for myself. My creativity has made way for me. There is a Bible passage that says that a man's talent will make way for him. And this is the same thing that I help other creative women build now through business therapy. At business therapy, we work on internal shifts that create external results. We build the structure that will support your creativity and we close the gap between where you are and where you want to be. And we do it in a way that lets you stay you, not corporate speak, no fake personas, just you with better systems and clearer boundaries, sustainable pricing. So, if you want to go deeper though into the mindset work behind all of this, you can go grab a copy of my book, Unmute Yourself. It is the foundation of everything that I teach about clarity, courage, and purpose. And it will help you start building your own bridge today, not someday. Today is always a good day. So, but this is what I want you to remember, that your talent is not the problem. Your work ethic is not the problem. You got all this down. You are not the problem. The problem is that you're trying to build a business using only your creativity when you need creativity plus business intelligence. But the good news, business intelligence can be learned. It's not some mysterious gift that you either have or you don't have. It is a skill set, and skills can be developed, and you've done the hard parts. You've developed your talent, you put in the hours and all the, picking your brain that you've done for everyone all this time. You built your expertise. Now it's time to build the business that your talent deserves. And that's all from me for today. Thank you for listening and keep doing all the things. Until next time. You've been listening to the Creative Business Mindset podcast, produced and edited by the Media Designers. I'm your host and favorite business therapist, Joke Durojaye. Remember to share, like, and subscribe. It's a wrap.